Hello, how we doing, everyone? Steven Richards back again. Cinco de Mayo today, so cheers to that. But we're here to talk about the flat Earth, of course. Alright, let's get right into this one. 15 proofs the Earth is flat and motionless. Number 1. The horizon is always flat, regardless of altitude. Horizon always meets at eye level, no matter the altitude. The horizon should be fixed, and when altitude is gained, the horizon line should fall if we are on a globe, but that is never experienced because it is flat and obviously not moving. Number 2. Water will always find its flat level line. You go anywhere on Earth and you will not see water bend. No body of water curves. It's always straight. It may fall a couple of inches. That's just due to terrain. But more or less, the surface of water is entirely flat. Number 3, the skyline issue. The Chicago skyline can be seen 59 miles away. According to the curvature formula of 8 inches per mile squared, the Chicago skyline should be behind 2,320 feet of curved water, which is also impossible. This is not a mirage because it's not upside down nor distorted. You can clearly zoom in and see the buildings of the city in their entirety, more or less. It's not like you're gonna see people walking on the streets, but you'll see maybe like story 6 or 5 and then all the way to the top, which should be behind almost 2,500 feet of curved water. Number 4, surveyors and architects do all their projects assuming the Earth is flat, no matter the size of the project. Making bridges over a 6-mile range should dip around 258 inches if my math is correct. And sometimes they do put a slight curve on the bridges because they say they're factoring in the curvature, but when you look below, the water is entirely flat and they end up looking moronic. But what else is new? Number 5, canal engineers do not measure curvature, and all canals are entirely flat. Number 6, snipers do not use the Coriolis effect. Only in shots over a mile do they adjust, because at that point the bullet would lose velocity and start to dip. That's not gravity. That's just you shoot something, throw a ball as far as you can, and at some point it's gonna lose its line and start to dip. Same thing with a bullet. It's not like there's rockets on the bullet. It's going off of one reaction and it just keeps going until it can't go no more. And if you're gonna try to snipe something that is over a mile, you're gonna have to aim a little bit up, and depending on the wind, left or right. And you're gonna do the same thing if you do it the opposite way. If you're shooting east to west, you should have no problem on the globe. But if you're shooting west to east against the force of the Earth's supposed movement, then you gotta adjust for a bunch of other things. But if you look in the manual for sniping school, the Coriolis effect, it's not brought up. They don't teach it. And if they do teach it, it's disguised as over a mile. You just adjust. Number 7. In all high altitude weather balloon videos showing the sun that shows a hot spot on top of the clouds, that's showing that the sun is directly over that portion of the flat plane. A hot spot of this size is not possible on a globe. If the sun were 93 million miles away, the whole Earth should be a hot spot, not just one part. And wherever that hot spot may be in the video, that indicates that it's between 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. high noon. It's called high noon for a reason, because the sun is right over you. Number 8. If there were billions of stars throughout the galaxy that were supposed of suns, the night sky would be completely lit up at night. There wouldn't be a couple of lights here, a couple dots there. If there were truly billions and trillions of stars in a vast, ever-expanding galaxy, then you should not be able to tell the difference between day and night, because the sky should be that bright. If you can't wrap your head around that one, feel free to contact me. Number 9. We see the same stars all year long. We should see completely different stars and star patterns in the fall compared to the stars we see in the night during the spring. But we do see the same stars, indicating we are flat and motionless. If you think of it this way, put the sun in the middle. In the spring, we're on the left. Nighttime is facing left. In the summer, we are over here on the right. Nighttime is facing right. Two completely different angles, two completely different sides that we are seeing of the galaxy at night, and yet the stars haven't changed over thousands of years. If the Earth were spinning 1,000 miles per hour from east to west, and then an eastward wind would not be possible. But if you live on the East Coast, you'll experience this daily, showing that we are not moving, we are not spinning, but the wind can go whichever way it wants. And that's another thing. Gravity holds down, water holds down us, our paper clips, our paperweights holds everything down, but the wind can do whatever it wants. Makes sense, right? Not. Number 11, flight paths. If the Earth is a globe, why does a plane from South America going to Australia always stop on the west coast, which is due north, rather than cut across the southern Pacific or over Antarctica? That would save a lot of time, money, and gas, but the Earth is flat, so there are no shortcuts. In South America to the west coast of the United States to Australia just happens to be a straight line on the flat model. Coincidence? I don't think so. Number 12. It took 3 to 4 years for Captain James Clark Ross and Captain Cook to circumnavigate Antarctica. It mapped out to 60,000 miles in circumference. Impossible on a 25,000 mile circumference supposed globe. Number 13. Sunset happens slower in the southern hemisphere than in the northern. On a flat plane, this makes sense as the sun never gets below the Tropic of Capricorn, and that leaves half of South America below that line. So when it's summer in the north, the sunset will last almost 45 minutes to an hour, while in the south, near or below the Tropic of Cancer, the sunset happens in minutes. Number 14. The record for the sun not being seen at or below the 71st degree south is May 17th to July 21st. Almost 2 months. This makes sense on a flat plane. If summer, the sun is going slightly above or around the Tropic of Cancer, and that it will cause 24 hours daylight in the Arctic, and at some points in the Antarctic, 24 hours of night will happen. On the globe, this is impossible. But on the flat plane, this and almost everything else just makes a little bit more sense. Number 15. Rotation takes 24 hours, and if the movement of the Earth is uniform, the Earth should experience 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night daily. Equinoxes would happen every day, but we do not experience this as we are flat and motionless, and the sun revolves us overhead, and then when it goes over or revolves over the tropic, or both the tropics and then the equator, that makes the equinoxes. Not us being some perfect distance from the sun 4 times a year. It just happens to cross over these 3 points, one of them twice, being the equator, which would cause our autumn and our spring. I'm in the northern hemisphere, so that's how that would work. And then it would cause, and then when it goes down to the Tropic of Capricorn, that's winter for me. And then when it comes back up to the Tropic of Cancer, that causes my summer. That's exactly how it works. You can't break it down any more simple than that. And once again, just to remind everyone, gravity doesn't exist. What you think is gravity, or what you call gravity, is actually density. If I'm holding a ball, the grasp of my hand and the force I'm holding it is more dense than the ball, so it's going to stay in my hand. Now when I let go, it's going to be surrounded by nothing but air molecules, which are less dense than the ball, so the ball has no other option but to fall to the ground, to where it is stabilized by whatever it meets on the ground. So there's no magical force, there's no invisible shit, it's just density. That's the key. And then once you wrap your head around that, and then you can look into the whole magnetic part of the flat earth, which I think is very true and valid. Look into ferromagnetic fluid, black fluid, just makes stuff revolve, it conforms to objects. It's a very interesting topic, but we'll do a video on that some other day. So we're gonna wrap it up. So if you have any questions or concerns about me, or if you want to contact me, just email me at scuba2114@gmail.com. Like I said, it's Cinco de Mayo, so cheers. Everyone have a great, safe night, and we'll be back again soon. See ya.